guys are even my condo. Good stuff. Of course, there was built in 29. So exciting.
Thanks so much for coming. Nice to meet you, honey. I'm going to try to round everybody up.
Well, good morning, and thank you all so much for joining us. I am absolutely thrilled to be standing here on the sacred ground at this moment. So we're about to just christen them, take these houses, and watch them become homes for some very special, local, hardworking Falmouth families. And that was the true intent of this project from the start. So as most of you know, projects like this don't happen very often. And when they finally do, it's time for a huge celebration. So let's just say we did it. It's taken the support of our entire community. And on behalf of the Falmouth Housing Trust and its entire board, I want to thank all of you here today for your support, advocacy, and commitment to affordable home ownership. Cassie, Eugenie, and Renato, as you begin to make these houses into your homes, I ask one thing of each of you. Always remember how your community worked collectively to permit, fund, and build these beautiful homes for you. And in return, please commit to us that you're going to take a little bit of this back. Volunteer, get involved, take a genuine interest in our school system, youth sports, the arts, maybe even run for town meeting. Find a local cause, something that you can be passionate about and commit to, and support it. In other words, please pay it forward. Our community is counting on you. Now I'd like to acknowledge several distinguished people that are here this morning. First, we have State Representative David Vieira, our very own T-Ticket native. I have Lori Joyce here, who's representing Tim Madden's office. We have the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Douglas Jones, my home practice, Mary Pat Flynn, and last but not least, I'd like to personally acknowledge my board, and of course our Executive Director, Annie Saganek, Connolly, for all their dedication, their time, and the hundreds of hours of work it took to get this project through to the end. Now I'd like to have Representative Vieira come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, Addie and Annie, and thanks to what we're calling community housing, right? That was the bill for the open house of community housing, and that really says it best. When a community comes together in a way that can promote home ownership, promote the dignity of a safe place to live in a community. And the one thing, if anything, about this project that I'm a little upset about is the fact that it took 7 years to be able to get to this point. And 7 years because of regulation, because of the financing mechanisms and the necessary permits and approvals through state agencies and local agencies. And if we are going to continue to make Falmouth and East Falmouth a good place to live, and a place where my generation and those after me are going to be able to raise their families and afford to live here, and for the developers that work on these projects to make it so that they can continue to do these projects and turn them around in the time necessary, we have got to be able to streamline these processes and make it in such a way that every weekend we can open up a home. Every weekend we can transfer a piece of property from one family to another in a way that makes our community strong. And so we were glad to have the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, Karen Polito, on Cape this past week, and one of the priorities that we spoke to her about were the issues around permitting and the issues around how these projects, whether they are through a nonprofit organization like the Trust, or whether they are through just private investment and private developing, that they can be done in ways that we can turn these projects around quicker and that we can make this housing stock available for our community. So my hat's off to the Housing Trust for their commitment to the project. When things got tough, they kept going. All of the partners that were involved here, from the general contractor, the clerk of the works, to continue to move forward so that we could get to this day. And hopefully one of the residents will be on the ballot, as Addie said, for town meeting. And so as town moderator, I hope to see one of you at town meeting in the near future. So congratulations today. Let's look forward to home ownership, and let's look forward to making this process easier in the future.
I do believe Mr. Douglas Jones has a few words too.
On behalf of the Board of Selectmen, again, we would like to extend our congratulations to the Falmouth Housing Trust. Welcome to the 3 families that are going to be moving into these houses. And then personally also, I want to express how gratified I am and proud I am that the group that's brought this forward are someone I taught sailing to many years ago, someone who was in high school with me, Bill Roslansky, who is another Falmouth native, a bunch of people who've been in Falmouth for many years, their whole lives, and realize the way that Falmouth can stay the way it is to make these kind of efforts, to make sure that we're making housing affordable and available to people who are going to be actually working in the town. And it's something that I'm really very proud of, that the local people are still saying, you know, this is the way we need to make it happen. And congratulations, and we will do our best to make sure that the process can move forward even faster, but regulations always do take some time. So congratulations, and we'll keep moving forward.
Now I think our financing savior here, Mr. Stephen Spitz from the wonderful bank Cape Cod 5, has a few kind words. And most folks here don't understand that he had a lot of courage and was willing to lend us this money without a mortgage on any of these buildings, which managed to save us probably $10,000 or $15,000 that we put back into these houses. So he really needs, the bank and Stephen really need to be given a lot of gratitude here, because it helped this project move forward, and it made us make these houses nicer. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody. This is a real tribute to this organization and what they've accomplished here. We're grateful to have been part of it. It was fun to participate in this venture. I think personally I have a little bit of an affinity towards these types of situations. As I recall, when my wife and I were like 20 years old, we bought a house in Brockton. It was a Campanelli 3-bedroom affordable home. It was under the FHA 235 mortgage. And it was a great start. We lived there for 3 years, and we ultimately moved to Easton, where we lived there for 20 years. But this has been fun. I enjoyed working with everybody here. I also want to introduce Bert Tallerman. Bert's an Executive Vice President of the bank and Vice Chairman of the Cape Cod 5 Charitable Foundation. Bert Tallerman.
Good morning. So nice to, Steve and I have a little surprise that we'd like to share with all of you. So in addition to, being thrilled to play a role here financing this exciting project, we all know what affordable housing means to our community. We need people regular people like all of us, who can live and work in this community, because if we don't have that, then things just don't function the way they should. So great for everyone to come together on this. We were thrilled to play a part. Obviously, Steve did all the heavy lifting. On behalf of the bank and our charitable foundation, we would like to present you with a small, kind of addition to the gap here that will help. I know you fundraising is always an important piece of this. And so we have a $2,500 check here from the foundation.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I love that.
Hi, I'm Annie Connolly. I'm proud to be the Executive Director for the Falmouth Housing Trust.
When folks talked about the length of time this project took, they were not kidding. I came to the trust in 2009, and at that point, this plot of land was already designated for, our organization had already designated it, and already had engineering and schematics done. So somebody said, how long did this take, Annie? Really, how long did it take? I would say at least 7 years. It's an arduous process for 3 houses. That's a long time. However, luckily, I have a great team. I have a great board who's in the trenches with me. I have lots of pals and supporters in Falmouth. And they remember Falmouth. They remember what it was like to grow up here. So Doug talks about sailing and kids just growing up and having fun and knowing your teachers and seeing your parents' friends at the grocery store. I mean, that's community. That's how it works here. That's how it used to work, and that's how it should continue to work. When I was a little kid, everybody's parents volunteered. It wasn't a surprise. They also didn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to pay the mortgage. That's a problem that needs to be addressed just as much as the housing needs in this town and on the Cape. I think it's imperative that we continue with small projects like this. They fit in nicely, as you can see. They're accepted by the neighbors, and they're palatable for the whole community. And really, if you look at our income table over here, this is the middle class. This is not the dole. This is regular, hardworking, often young families starting out, trying to build a life. And that's what we do here at the Falmouth Housing Trust. We help them build a life. We've got lots of pals here in the audience, lots of elected officials, which Addie was very good at recognizing. But we also have my project team here. And several of them have been hanging around with me for years, well before there was much to do, except talk to me. I do like to talk. I want to give a special thanks to, of course, the Valleys. We've got Joe and Joan here, or maybe Joan had to leave. There were a lot of little kids, too. Oh, there she is. Hi, Joan. Joan and Joe. Valley, who's our GC. Hi. With the broom over here. He's the project manager, and then we also have, I guess Alex isn't here, but he's a sweetheart, and he just pitched in no matter what it took. He was out here watering with me and trying, because of course we don't have irrigation, so watering and moving sprinklers and trying to just make it happen. Christian did a ton of work with us pre-development wise for free, and Mike has been my go-to guy and very saintly and responsive. So thank you both. Thank you all. We also have Mike Duffany, who's a great pal and pro-affordable housing. He was the clerk of the works on the project. Again, instrumental, huge help. We have Bill Rose Landscape architect out here in the front row. We talked about the savings we garnered through not having having an unsecured line with Cape Cod 5, but the other thing is we recycled plans from a previous development. Bill upgraded them, brought them to code, inverted the suit salt boxes so they look a little bit different, and did things like that. And he worked with us, again, for hours and days and lots of time for free to make it happen. Thank you, Bill. Greg McDonald is my buddy. He's the landscaper. He's not here because he's at a baseball tournament. But he's another local guy. I went to high school with him. He's a hard worker. He's a big help, and he's made a tremendous difference to the project. And then we've got Laura Moynihan, our attorney du jour. She's over there doing her thing. She's great. She's in the trenches. When we had a couple stumbling blocks, she talked me off the cliff. Thank you, Laura. You should think about getting an MSW as well. And last but not least, we had Tim Santos from Homes and McGrath, who I would call and say, "Hi, Tim. Hi, it's Annie. I was wondering if you could update the schematics with engineering." No, we don't have the project yet, but we've made some changes. Okay, sure, Annie. Well, what about, do you mind doing it for free? Because we don't have any money yet. No, that's okay. I'll do it. Am I going to get the job when you get it? Yes, you'll get the job. You'll get the job. So Tim Santos from Homes and McGrath. And then the other people that really deserve a huge thanks are our neighbors. We've got Vicki Santos here. Victoria. Oh, sorry. Don't call her Vicky. Are the Menezes here? No. We've got some other neighbors who I actually don't know, but the neighbors themselves were tolerant and kind and appreciative of what was happening. They were not critical. They were not unkind. They were not NIMBYs, not in my backyard. They were welcoming, and I hope that everybody's going to have a nice life together living here. And I'm coming to the first block party with my kids. We've got folks from the CPC, the Affordable Housing Committee. We've really got a lot of fans in the audience, and I want to thank you all. I have a personal relationship with most of you. We've got Mike Kasparian from the Chamber. We've got Becky Clark, who's a member of our Oddfellows Hall Community Committee. That's coming next. Yes, people, get ready. And then, I guess I'm winding down. That's exciting, isn't it? Oh, the Falmouth Walk. I want to give them a plug. They're so wonderful and generous, and they're having the Falmouth Walk this year. It's the Saturday before the road race. You can sign up. It's $20 per person. It's a short little jaunt, 3 miles or 1.5, I believe, and it starts right in front of Oddfellows Hall. Isn't that weird? I did not plan it. I have a couple other thanks real quick. Falmouth Police Department, Falmouth Lumber, Barnstable County Sheriff's Office, FCTV. Marilyn Rowland is a volunteer. She's taping all this. Falmouth Rod and Gun Club, Falmouth Town Meeting, and the Town of Falmouth Preservation Committee, and of course the Board of Selectmen who are here in force today. And then there's 3 other people that I do need to acknowledge because they've really put up with me and put up with my 11 o'clock phone calls and the texts and the working on the weekends and the nights and doing what it needs to do. And 2 of them are short and 1 of them's sort of medium height. My mom, she's medium. My 2 kids, Maisie and Michael, who are in the back there. I felt it was important to have the kids here today because really, they're what this is all about. They're the next generation, and they need to see what mommy does and what all mommy's friends do. Remember when we're in the grocery store, I'll say, this is mommy's friend from work. These are mommy's friends from work. This is what we do, guys. We make home ownership a reality so that other families can live in Falmouth just like us. And that's it. Thanks so much. So please wander through the homes. Take a minute to ask any of the board members or anyone from the project committee or myself. We're happy to give you a little tour, talk about the highlights of the homes. We did make significant energy upgrades. They're all Tier 1 certified, Energy Star. They're going to be really inexpensive to operate, and they're extremely well built. Anderson windows, mahogany decks, hardwood floors, excellent heating system. It's all good. Thank you.